Hello, my fellow YouTubers and my minions. Let's do something real quick that is going to make the setup for the next video when I do a live broadcast. Here's a compass. Walk over here, my boy Vinny. That facing that brick wall should be north. And it is. Facing that tester coil on the top loads where it says S should be south. It is. Okie dokie. Got that clear. Make sure the compass is right. So, you go through the magnets here. These should be south. And the ones without the yellow should be north. So that one's weak. They're all weak. That one's not showing anything. These are two south. Over here, I just charged off of here. I use this as a charging mechanism, and these are Gorilla Strength. And now you can see, watch how the compass pulls up. That's south, that's north, south, north, south, north, south, north. And look at them, they're like little PMHs. All right, let's go ahead and charge a couple, and then we'll get off this video. And what you'll see on the live broadcast tonight is I stripped all the 16 gauge wire off the whole spool, the whole wheel. The reason is it was too much resistance, way too much. So I did the math, and we're going to be looking at 14 gauge wire, 10 turns, and in series all the way around. So we're taking the one end of the wire, and if this is the yellow, so it'd be south pole, you wind it counterclockwise, and this is north pole. When you come up, you wind it clockwise. So when you put the south pole here, the positive of your battery cables, and the negative over here, we'll do a test right now. All these magnets here should pop up the same pole. Now look at this one here. That's kind of blowing out. It's not even, you got, remember the yellow should be south. That says north. Yeah, okay. So let's do a quick test right now. Let's take and go with 12 volts. I had that at 24 for charging. 12 volts, we're going to put the positive on the positive is going over here on the start. That's where I started, and that's where I end up. And we're going to take the negative, and we're going to stick that on there, and now we'll walk it. So there's south with the yellow, north, north, south, north, south, north, south. Okay, got that? So we're holding pretty good with a steady stream. As far as magnetism, not a lot of pull. Now we'll go ahead and disconnect the power. And now you can see that I turned all these into their poles, even though they weren't charged. Now these guys over here, these are charged. So we're going to continue charging the magnets and bringing them back solid and strong and like fresh brand new magnets. So by doing so, we're going to keep the negative off, put the positive on the start. Let me tighten that up. It looks a little loose. Want to make sure these are nice and tight. All right, and we're going to switch this to 24 volts. And so this is the South Pole and this is the North Pole. So we're taking the North Pole and facing it to the South Pole, and the South Pole facing to the North Pole. And you're going to see how you charge magnets by using an electromagnet, a much stronger one, which I like that somebody left a comment in regards to changing the poles. And we'll talk about that on the live video tonight, how I did those pole changing, and you'll be surprised. You're going to be very surprised. You right? You guys ready? So you just tap it about 6 times. Okay. And I get some of these keeper bars. Back it up. Yeah, it's like stuck to it. And stick this to it. That's beautiful. So I'm doing this with one hand. I'm just going to do a couple with you guys so you can see. So it's kind of tough. There we go. And we'll touch the cables. It's 24 volts. You don't want a lot of amps when you're charging, so if you went up more in amps, I don't think it'd be as good. Oh yeah. So you can see these are strong. So I'll go ahead, let me charge all these up. About 7:30 I'll post a live, keep it on for a while. The things we're going to go over tonight is we're able with, I'm going to demonstrate that if I take a cable and put it to the end and leave it connected, and just tap the end, you're going to see the poles on the compass change. And they're not going to change like when I tap it, it changes poles, and then I disconnect it, it goes back. Because I could do that as well, but we're also going to show where the end of the pole stays. And we're going to keep the camera on it and see how long it stays for. Which it stays for, so far I know, a couple hours. So we're not going to stay to the end of it, but pretty cool stuff. So guys, stay tuned. Leave your comments. Love the comments. Peace out. Hey, got me some fresh 16 gauge wire. Oh yeah. That's 1,265 feet of 16. We're wrapping 14 on here. The goal here with this is to take my 2 car batteries, hook them up to my resistance wire, okay? And what we'll do is we'll have it to where it's 24 volts through the whole thing. So if I were to have one end here and the other end right here, I'd be getting the 24, but it's really like 1330 when they're charged, so it's 26 and change volts. Or I could back it down, and below 12, I can go down to 6. So that's what I'm going to do, put the resistance wire up over here. I'm going to set it up. This way I'll be able to come into the like the coils here, and I know that the way I wound this, when you take the voltage and divide it by the resistance, you'll get the current. So with all the wire on here, I can put 12 volts on there, and the amperage capability of 14 gauge should be in the ballpark. If 12 gauge is 20 amps in your house and 14 gauge is 15 amps, then that means 16 is probably 10 amps to 15 amps. But if you're pulsing it, that goes into another layer, and we'll talk about when you're pulsing stuff, how it's not direct, it's the angle, the rate of change. Peace out, my bro amps.